access was never the problem. And I keep saying this. Like, I believe that everybody would get access. I've always been concerned about what we would use that access for.
Right. We have all the information in human history at our fingertips, and we spend most of our time doom scrolling through social media sites or feeling bad about ourselves because our friends are on vacation. You had sent this article, for the love of God, make your own website. And it talked a lot about, like early days of the internet and just like going around exploring different websites, the free hosting on AngelFire and GeoCities, which I can vouch. I was an avid AngelFire and GeoCities user. I built many a stupid web page about absolutely nothing with so many, fire GIF backgrounds and the little page counter that I would refresh a million times so that it would get up to 1 million. But I thought it was particularly interesting because we are always preaching about, build your own platform, like do it on your own. Don't be beholden to these other shitty, systems and templates and stuff where you can't take your data with you.
Right. I don't hate Wix. I don't hate Squarespace. I don't hate WordPress.
They serve a purpose, right?
They serve a purpose. I actually have a client that I came to the conclusion they need WordPress. What they want to do, WordPress fits perfectly for them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to I don't want to have a design look bad because you keep fiddling with it.
Yeah.
Right. To a point where, and I don't like to do websites anyway. That's another tangent of just me being pissed. But I don't really enjoy doing like websites, to be quite fair. But I definitely know that if I get a design to look the way I feel that it looks pleasant to the eye, that's a lot. And when you start putting stuff I don't want my name on that. So
right.
Take that out of the footer.
I think that's
the
fair.
second part is I think that so the blue sky phenomenon also fits. But I think that people are trying to replace social media for actually having your own spot on the internet. And I think that was the meat of the article. Like, whether it's through a generative site like Word or like Wix or Squarespace or a platform like Joomla or WordPress, have at it. But have your own domain on the website, on the internet. Yeah. Because what you don't want to have happen is Twitter owns all of your content. That's a bad feeling. And they can do whatever they want. They can block links outgoing and going. That's weird. Blue Sky is not like that. So,
but you can't guarantee that Blue Sky is going to be like that forever, right? And that's the thing, is that at the end of the day, if you're not building it yourself and controlling it yourself, then you're leaving it up to somebody else to decide what happens with your content. And we did this for a long time on the vast social media channels. I just kind of said, fuck it. Every once in a while, I get the itch to post something on our Instagram, but our Twitter, we shut that down well over a year ago.
Yeah.
Facebook was completely pointless. Nobody, I think, except your wife, saw any of our posts on Facebook, which thank you to her for all of her support. But even, the whole point of those pages and the way that they're like, oh, build your brand here, is to get you to pay them to advertise. They don't want to give it to you for free. Right? There was a time where you got tons of exposure through social media for free.
And through them, you're still the product.
Exactly.
That's the part that I think a lot of people miss. The internet's not free. yes, there are free options, but you're still the product. You have to be able to navigate those things. And I think a website, whether it's for, like I don't hate. Well, actually, I do. Let me. I don't enjoy social media. I hate what it's become. I believe it serves a purpose. Like there's a purpose to being able to reach millions of people without putting a lot of effort if something goes viral. There's that's I get that. But I think people get to know you or your brand by your website, where that's your like that is your identity on the internet. I don't know why we keep getting away from that. I don't I can't understand it.
I think I think that it started because it was like, well, where are people spending their time on the internet, right? And so many people, especially the young people that they were trying to target advertising wise, were spending their time on social media platforms. And so it's like, well, we need to be on the social media platforms where our target audience is. And so that influx, though, just created such a mess of promotions and like hidden sponsorships and the influencer crap and everything that we've seen over the last 20 years that's kind of sprung out of this social media bullshit. And it's led us to a point now where people feel obligated to use certain social media channels a lot of the times, and not everybody, but some people. I used to feel this way, where it was like,
Right.
oh, I got to post pics of my kids so that all the family that we don't see all the time gets to see them. And it's like, no, you know what? I can send them a text. I can send them, we can do group text, we can do email. There are plenty of other ways. It doesn't have to be here. I don't have to share my kid's face with these facial recognition programs.
Right.
Like it gets creepy after a while.
Well, I think the author of this article, pardon me, he or she puts it pretty good. Unfortunately, this is what all the internet is right now. Social media owned by large corporations that make changes to them to limit or suppress your speech in order to make themselves more attractive to advertisers or just pursue their owners' ends. That was not the intent of the internet. And I'm old enough to remember, using Telnet, using like BBS services, and like the internet for me is not really a new thing. HTML was kind of cool. Like I didn't have AOL.
But at what cost, Andre?
Right, that's as I date myself, right?
Oh, but yeah. I mean, I didn't get on the internet until HTML was a full-on thing, pretty much.
Right.
But
and it made it prettier.
Right? It did.
It made it more consumable for the average person.
Well, and I think like that's the thing you were talking about, like being able to reach, have something like reach millions of people without a lot of effort. I think the access, right, is what, like that was a big thing for Twitter for a lot of it was the access to immediate information, right? The access to be able to tune into what was going on, even if it wasn't happening locally to you. You could still follow along and see what was going on in other parts of the world as, there were like protests or riots or, whatever it may be that was going on. But again, right, that got perverted and twisted into whatever fucking horror show Twitter is now. If you're really into Nazi propaganda, I guess
that's your spot.
That's a good place. If you want to see everybody screaming at everybody else, that's a good place to hang out. I mean, honestly, like I got on Threads for a little while when it first came out because I was like, oh, federated content. That's the interesting thing that's supposed to be new.
But Zuckerberg.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's all still owned by the same motherfuckers. Like,
right. And Zuckerberg does not want to. He doesn't really want to participate in the Fediverse because
why would you? Why would you want your content, people that are posting content on your platform, engaging with it on somebody else's platform?
You're the marketer. I mean, the simple answer, it's ad dollars. Like you're still the product.
Right.
I think Blue Sky can figure it out. I hope, and I think they can. Um, there is a place for social media, and when you think about countries that have barely 3G service, and it's very easy to, um, tweet or do something like that as
Right.
opposed to write a blog post. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
I think we talked about WhatsApp, and I didn't realize how like like everywhere it was except for the states.
Yeah. But again, Zuckerberg.
Again, Zuckerberg, right? So these services serve a purpose for like short communication, and I still look at social media as a prettier form of texting. I think if and I really believe if you want to have a presence on the web, you have to have your own website.
Yeah.
Does that exclude certain groups of people? Possibly, but a vast majority of people will be able to take advantage of that, and they'll be able to like get back to the basics or that Star Trek, harmonious culture of learning and sharing. And I think that was the original intent. I remember Bill Clinton was asked, I think Al Gore was in his press conference about the internet and how the promise was everybody would have access to it, blah, 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 blah.
But we must do more to ensure that the benefits of the information revolution flow to every American. That means working to close the digital divide, to put computers in every classroom, to train our teachers to make the most of them.
Access was never the problem, right? And I keep saying this. Like, I believe that everybody would get access. I've always been concerned about what we would use that access for.
Right. We have all the information in human history at our fingertips, and we spend most of our time doom scrolling through social media sites or feeling bad about ourselves because our friends are on vacation.
So, and I'm not this pie in the sky ideal.
I know. That's me.
Yeah. Like, I'm very, very, very realistic about like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, and I'm not a pie in the sky guy, but it's like, if you had a choice to do better and you had the option to do better, why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah.
So I kind of, and I kind of get mad at people that have better means than other people and they choose to do dumb shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel sorry for you when you fall on your face. Because in my life, I didn't always have the best shit. I've had to work for it. And I've tried to provide a life for my family to where we can have options. And I tell my kids, hey, you've got more options than I do. I hope you don't fuck it up because I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
Good luck and don't it up.
Like,
damn it, Andre.
I mean,
just perpetuating the problem. No, I'm just kidding. I hear what you're saying. I mean, there's a ton of opportunity. It's, but yeah, it's like, what do you choose to do with it?
Right.
And I've struggled with that myself sometimes, right? Like I got off of most of social media, but I spend a lot of my time listening to or watching videos on YouTube, but not toxic masculinity videos. It was the bulwark for a long time there.
Right.
But lately I've been trying to kind of like, I don't know, vary what I watch a little bit more so that I add something educational, like something where I'm expanding my knowledge or learning something new or, whatever it may be. Try not to go down the whole, like, I'm 40 years old, so I'm really into World War II now, because that's not a thing that I want to get into. I don't know if you know that, like, that's guys, like, as they get older, they're just like, I'm really into what led up to World War II. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Hitler.
Don't
be Hitler.
Don't be Hitler.
It's not that complicated.
We're not doing very good at that.
So I did notice on YouTube, and I've been pruning my my list, and that's the thing about YouTube I kind of don't like.
Yeah.
They add things to your algorithm very quickly.
Oh, very much so. You watch one video, don't even like it, and they're like, here's 15 more of these. Did you want this one? What about this one? What about this one? What about this one?
I am very quick with the dislike.
Yeah.
And when I start seeing things in my feed, especially when I watch on my Roku, I'll go through the videos that are listed, and I'll put do not recommend channel.
Yep.
To like constantly before I start watching, letting it run. I've noticed, and this is not a conspiracy, but it's a fact, that the U.S. politics are clickbait, and there's a bunch of people from Africa that will take U.S. news clips and put it into a video. And 2 or 3 minutes in, you'll see the person, and they have no real commentary on the issue. They go away and they play like three.
MAGA family, my fellow Trump supporters, I was in the mental health clinic last night. I just came home this morning, and I've been fighting a lot of depression and just internal sadness, and just because a lot of Democrats in my comment section keep saying that I'm not wanted by MAGA.
This brother of ours is one of the popular MAGA person on the social media we've seen, and he's proud of being a MAGA person.
So people are out there getting the bag on U.S. politics. It's really a strange phenomenon.
That is very weird.
Yeah, and it's like I started looking, and I'm like listening to this video, like all this, and it's basically like right now it's the fuck around and find out for MAGA voters, and there is a string of them on YouTube, and I'm like, wait a minute, that name sounds very suspect. Not that they're very like English sounding names.
Yeah.
But the titles of the channels, they kind of don't fit how like you would say the name in English, or they even name a channel. And so I just like I'll scrub through it, and I'm like, oh, there we go. And it's like
so they just like show up and then like green screen kind of.
Yeah, or in their apartment or wherever they're at recording. Yeah. It's pretty ingenious, and I'm sure they're going to make a lot of money while this is a hot topic. But the bag is getting found on YouTube based on U.S. politics. But I'm like, I think probably 3 times a week now I have to prune my YouTube like freaking playlist and what I want to see. Yeah, because if you let the algorithm. If you let the algo, you're fucked. Yeah. You're going to be depressed. You're just going to be like listening to shit that's going to get you amped up just for no reason. So,
right. It's just going to feed into your worst, like, intuitions and desires. That's
like, I have gotten some like secret pleasure of the people that are regretting their vote. I even like fact checked the Google search trends about tariffs. Yeah. And can I change my vote? And that shit is true. That shit is legit. Yeah. I'm like, yo, that's hilarious. Yeah. I like the people that didn't get invited to Thanksgiving. I'm kind of suspect about the people that said they got divorced or they're divorcing their spouse because of the vote. Yeah. I don't believe that too much. I don't believe that's the reason. And if it's true, I don't believe that's the reason you're getting divorced.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not pro.
You've got bigger problems if if you're just like, whoop, nope, done.
Oh,
you were on thin ice, buddy.
Yeah, that was it. No, I'm sure there was other stuff. So something funny happened to me today. Somebody was talking to me about family values, and like they brought up the 50s and time periods past beyond then. And I was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me we were talking about family values of like when a woman couldn't like get her own checking account or credit card, and you're saying families were happier? I think she was trapped. I think those
she wasn't allowed to leave. Divorces weren't like legal, right? At that point.
I'm like, I think you need to like go fact check yourself on the basis of what you're saying. Yes, there were less divorces because they couldn't pay for it. Yeah. So
because they couldn't go get a job
they couldn't get a job.
afterwards.
They'd be like a social pariah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, so it's like, I don't know if families are all together happy. They just kind of like, I don't know.
Don't you remember Demi Moore in The Scarlet Letter?
Yeah, she looked happy as hell.
The worst. One of the worst adaptations ever. Thanks for checking out the Chris and Andre Show. Remember, unlike yourself in middle school, those like and subscribe buttons aren't going to hit themselves. And be sure to leave a comment with your favorite part of the show or a topic you'd like us to cover in the future. As always, stay salty.